is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No. Nope.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody. Eric and Al were just having a conversation, and Al literally had his glasses like on his lip, like in a movie.
Yeah,
I didn't know anyone did that in real
I
life.
just discovered something. I was like, that's interesting.
That's exactly what you're doing. I was like,
I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
I was like, I didn't think people did that in real life.
Yeah, you have to solve a formula to do that, and I didn't.
You just did.
We were just talking about Ludacris at hanging out in Atlanta. That's what we were discussing.
and it went there?
Yes, I don't know.
That has never happened ever in the history of the world. Hey, so how do you enjoy Ludacris? And then you smoked your pipe?
Stroke my white cat on my lap.
Something new every day here at DBL. All right, let's get to it, guys. Jennifer Coolidge is opening up about all of her flaws. The actress appeared on the cover of GQ and spoke about her decision not to have children. She says she is, quote, very, very immature and is sort of a child herself. She also spoke with Variety. Oh, thanks for coming back right now. She also spoke with Variety about something she calls her fatal flaw. This was back in the 90s when her career was just taking off. Let's take a look.
There was this moment where it was like, I felt like it was kind of a wave, looking back at it, it was this wave that I really could have ridden. I mean, I could have gotten on the wave and really, but I don't know, I was sort of like, I got very distracted and I was trying to,
You were like trepidatious about like
I started pursuing guys. It didn't. I started like I didn't realize you have to really. There's that. Where's that saying? You got to seize the iron while it's hot. That never occurred to me that I should have gotten on that wave and ridden it.
So Jennifer says she has a habit of dating intense men and that she had never had a laid-back boyfriend that was just full of joy. She was kind of explaining some of that when she was talking.
Yeah, I really understand what she's saying, but I also feel like you can, yes, it's important to seize the moment, but you can only seize the moment if you understand it's the moment. And some of the parts about her immaturity in her life may have meant that she wasn't ready to seize the moment. But look at her now. And I don't think that there's ever, it's never going to be the perfect time. It's always just going to be the right time. Sometimes that happens earlier, sometimes it happens later. But the wrong partner will absolutely derail and mess some things up for you. But they might also be delaying you until when you're really ready for it.
They're saving you, right? They're protecting you, right? What if she never got the White Lotus? And I loved her from all of the, what are they? Christopher Guest movies, like Best in Show and all those. I've loved her the whole way through. She's been in improv. I've loved her. A lot of people get their picker wrong. And what I mean that is like, they said this on, who's the woman, Millionaire Matchmaker? What's her name? Patty Stanger. She always says sometimes the picker is wrong. I really relate to this, and I think a lot of people, men and women, do. You just go again after the wrong person over and over and over, and it takes you down the path you wish you hadn't. I'm just glad she got the opportunity, but what a relatable sentiment. I picked terribly awful guys that had no interest in anything that I was interested in. And I had to really work on myself and go to a life coach and a therapist and figure out what are my values here, because they were not being met by the men I was dating at all.
I think what you're saying and what Jennifer's saying is, in a weird kind of subversive and almost sick way, you pick partners and you kind of use them to torture yourself.
It was like self-sabotage.
And having a partner that is just not there for you, and having a partner that just like, you're like, hey, I just booked this DBL gig, and they're like, yeah, the air conditioning's out. Like, just not acknowledging any success you're having, not giving you anything back. There's a reason you're with that person. There's a reason. You didn't just pick, of all the people, the fact that you keep picking that same guy, you didn't find your guy until you fixed the person inside. I'm not trying to turn this into some kind of motivational thing, but Jeff, talk to me. I see the way Jordan talks about you, like when we'll be at a party, and she's always talking about, I want Jeff to do this. Jeff should do that. She's thinking about you at all times in a positive way, highlighting you all the time. And there's a reason that you're sitting here. Your partner and your partner. There's a reason for all this.
Yeah. I think sometimes people self-sabotage, and again, don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, so they have an excuse of why they failed.
Absolutely.
Right? So for Jennifer, I like her even more now, is because especially in today's, I don't want to say society, but just the way philosophy, the way people think, she didn't point her fingers backwards and say, these people are the reason I'm not where I'm at today, or I should be somewhere else. She looked inward and said, you know what? I screwed up. I screwed up back then, and it never really took off, and I'm glad I got my chance now because I straightened that out up here. Wasn't pointing a finger to someone else, took acceptance of that, and I really love that about her.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's retrospective over regret.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, you have to be grateful for the wins and the losses.
You have to learn from the losses. That's my whole philosophy. You're going to go through bad times. You're going to have losses. In today's society now, you're not allowed to have a loss. But in my life, all my losses are my biggest success because I learned not to do that again. Right? We got deep there.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Jennifer, bringing it.
If you wanted to, while I was talking, you could have put the glasses on. So, Al,
it's an interesting point, Joe.
So I have wins and L's, losses, right? But it really stands for learning.
Oh. Were you on? Let me think about that.
All right, we're switching gears here. Her milkshake brought Bill Murray to the yard. I tried to do it. Let me do it again. Ready? All right, we're going to switch gears here. Her milkshake brought, I can't say it. Her milkshake brought, you say it.
Her milkshake brought Bill Murray to the yard.
Oh, that was good.
Better than,
That's hard to say. You tried, Al.
I can't.
Try
I can't sing.
Her
Tori?
milkshake.
Her milkshake brought Bill Murray to the yard.
That was good. You want to give one a go?
Her milkshake brought all the Bill Murrays to the yard.
All of them.
All of them? All right. That's right. Kelis is reportedly dating Bill Murray. Bill has been seen at several of her concerts in England. Kelis is 43 and Bill is 72. Both Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, if you remember, recently became new dads at a very older. Can I say very older?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't know. That's age shaming. And now Bill is dating someone decades younger than him. So are older Hollywood actors having their moment right now?
I think they've always had their moment. Are we serious? Like this is just Hollywood. This is what it is. It's the power. It's the money. It's the glamour. And it's every red carpet is an older Clark Gable with a young. That's just Hollywood. I think this though has potential. And I learned a lot about Kelis. I didn't know about her late husband.
Yeah,
and so
Mike.
yeah, will you tell? Because that really touched my heart.
Yeah, her husband. She lost her husband last year, and the father of her children. They were very much in love. He got stomach cancer, and I think they gave him about 18 months, and he unfortunately passed away. And Bill Murray also has his ex-wife recently passed. Honestly, I like this.
Me too. Me
and
too.
I know it's a big age difference, but I feel like Kelis has made a concerted effort to live her life kind of out of the spotlight and only show up when it's time for her to be on.
Right.
She lives on a farm. I did, during the lockdown, I did cooking with Kelis. So it was like 3 of us on Zoom, and Kelis was like showing us this vegan pie to make.
Awesome.
So I got to talk to her. She's like super awesome. Bill Murray also is like super off the radar as well.
He's off the
so
grid too, yeah.
I really I like this.
Maybe they just both needed a little laughter.
Yeah.
Like, as a comic, you can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And Kelis is a super funny person. We all have these weird Kelis stories. The talk show that I booked.
I don't have any Kelis.
The talk show that I booked before Daily Blast Live, it was a show that was going to go on NBC. It was me, Kelis, Scott Wolf, friend of the show, and Lisa Rinna.
Oh, wow.
And we were in production for 10 weeks. Maybe 12. So I mean, we worked together every day. I got to know her. I would tell the homies, like, she's like legitimately like hilarious. She actually signed one of those cookbooks from a mom and said, this is obviously pre-COVID, and she was with child at that time. So, and she was obviously with her husband that has since sadly passed away. So when we're talking about somebody that's experienced a tremendous, an immense amount of trauma in such a small amount of time, the joy of giving birth with this man you love to then having that young child then lose his father, it's a lot. And maybe Bill Murray is that rainbow that's just like, hey, I need some joy in this life. So
I think that's a real thing, though. Like finding solace in someone going through the same thing.
Absolutely.
I think that's a real thing.
Absolutely. In Judaism, they say beshert, or Yiddish, I guess, and it means it's meant to be. And those two souls somehow, whether you believe it or not, those are meant to beshert.
Yeah, we didn't just marry them off.
I know.
We did. We don't even know if it's a rumor or not.
Hanging out, we're like, oh, we
We're like,
love this. Where do we send the wedding gift?
You're totally right.
Is there a difference though, because it's not like 70 and 20 kind of like?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that during the segment. As long as we're two adults, I'm down with that. No, people are like, a 23 years an adult.
No.
Everybody stop. And that's when I always have pause, whether it's an older man or an older woman with a younger person, because you are are taking something from this relationship that they are not.
Yeah.
And there is, I just don't like power dynamics like that. But when you're in your 40s, I don't care who you're with.
And she has her kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelis has had her life, he's had his life.
Mazel tov to
I want a
this.
Kelis story.
I
I'm
have
gonna be
none.
selfish here. Coming up on DBL, our interview with JoJo and Jordan from The Bachelorette. They're telling us all about their new dating show that they're hosting featuring divorced couples. And Erica's breaking down the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion in her segment, What Erica's Watching.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point.
But I'm gonna have a conversation about what's happening now.
So I'm talking to BJ, who's holding the camera right now, about Crowbar Chicago.
Crowbar?
So I used to be the VIP host on Sundays at Crowbar in Chicago, which was the night. It was boys' night, yes, and it was crazy. I learned who I was going to be on Sundays at Crowbar.
Dude, I used to go to Crowbar, I remember a lot. That was like the hot spot in Chicago. But I used to go there like late nights on Saturday till like 3 in the morning. Because remember, like, Dennis Rodman's coming. And they had like the thing blocked off. And me and my friends used to be there. I'm like, dude, it's like 3 o'clock. When's he coming? And I actually never saw him there because he came so late that I just left. Because that bar was open till 4, I think.
Yeah,
4 or 5,
I know, because I worked there. It was 4 o'clock on Fridays, or Thursdays and Fridays it was 4 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays at 4.
Could you imagine being out at 3 in the morning?
I can't imagine.
A bar?
Because
Crowbar? Because it's so loud, it's crazy?
That was my life for years.
Oh my
but
God.
the crazy part about it is, the bar closes at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., but we don't leave until like
You have some
6.
after drinks?
So Sundays, I would go home and I would be in the elevator with people going to church, and I'd be dressed like I just worked at a bar. It was a lot.
Crowbar. There's some
It
stories.
was a
There's some
lot.
Crowbar stories for sure.
Yes. Oh, so many.
Too bad we're out of time. We were going to tell them all.
Remember when they did the dancers scaling the side of the wall?
I remember they had the pillars were people all over. I don't remember the dances.
Yeah, remember when
kind
we
of
first
everything.
reopened, on Sundays it was boys'
kind of
night.
everything.
But yeah, they would climb the side of the wall and dance like off the wall. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, it was all over. It was weird. It was kind of a weird bar.
Welcome back. It's comeback season for 2 queens. And what went down during the Jersey Housewife reunion? It's all in this week's What Erica's Watching. The second part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion aired, and it was a big, shady mess, okay? Teresa doubled down that her sister-in-law, Melissa, and her brother, Joe, were the reason why she spent time behind bars. But Andy pointed out that her ex-husband, Joe, is actually to blame.
Melissa put you in jail?
Oh my God. I spoke to the FBI because of what you've done.
Oh, what are you threatening me?
I'm speaking the truth.
That's a lie. Prove it. Let him talk!
And things got even more shady between Jennifer and Rachel because they exchanged even more insults about each other having bad nose jobs. That's right, we said it. It was a mess. So even if you don't watch Love and Hip Hop, you might still know the larger-than-life reality star, rapper Jocelyn Hernandez. Well, although she's crowned herself the Puerto Rican princess, she's also known for being a spicy ice queen and running a scorching hot cabaret show. Well, she made an emotional confession. The hardcore rapper cried during a performance and shared just why. It was the first time she had ever performed sober. She also said she actually performs better when she's not under the influence. You get it, girl. And finally, Tiana Taylor announced her retirement from music with her final Rose tour. And fans, were shocked. But since then, she's been a boss in film, both in front of and behind the camera. And her latest project is producing and starring in a biopic about the Queen Dionne Warwick. Plus, Tiana just launched her own Air Jordan line, complete with a short film.
I know Jordan made dresses.
And just when you thought she was done with music, she surprised her followers with video of her rehearsing for a summer jam concert. And at just 32 years old, let's note, it's just the beginning. So share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBL Erica Watch. We'll be right back.
Spending the day outside during the summer means arming yourself with citronella candles and lots of bug spray to fend off the mosquitoes. But is there a better way to keep those bloodsuckers away? This Instagram video with nearly 500,000 views claims that bubbles will do the trick. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are the Cleveland Clinic, Terminex, and Dr. Floyd Shockley, an entomologist at the National Museum of Natural History. Shockley says,
there's no particular reason why bubbles of any kind would have a particular impact on mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes find humans through the carbon dioxide we emit and our natural body odors. And some people are just more attractive to mosquitoes. Shockley says that doesn't change just because there's something else with a different smell nearby, like soapy bubble solution. In fact, according to the Cleveland Clinic, the floral scents common in soaps used to make bubbles actually attract mosquitoes. So we can verify, no, bubbles do not repel mosquitoes. But if we look back at that viral video, there is something that could help keep the mosquitoes away. The bubble machine. But it's not because of the bubbles. It's the fan.
Mosquitoes don't like flying in wind. They're not very good at it. And so that has been shown to sometimes reduce the number of mosquitoes in a particular area.
Terminex, a pest control company, says fans can disperse carbon dioxide and odors that mosquitoes use to locate you. With your Verify, I'm Adiante Till.
Welcome back. You know them best from The Bachelorette, but now they're hosting a new reality show for singles looking for love. But there's a catch. They'll have to do it in front of their ex-spouses. Check out our conversation with JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rogers. You guys already survived one reality show. What's more stressful on you guys? Being on that reality show, which I'm very familiar with, or hosting one?
Oh my God.
Oh, it's being on one, right? I mean, I had to sit there and watch 25 other guys make out with my future wife. She did.
Good point.
I knew it, so.
So I was good.
No, but what I think is interesting, we love this role. It's our third show we've hosted together. I think we love the reality dating space because it was a success for us. We know that you can find love in this crazy reality bubble environment, but I think we noticed that no one had really gone after the divorced couples, and I think it's because it's a little taboo. There's a negative connotation sometimes in society. We wanted to break that. We wanted to show that you can find hope, you can find romance, you can close a chapter in a healthy way, find new love, or with the right tools, sometimes that divorce maybe wasn't actually the end, or maybe it shouldn't have been with that partner that you had.
Oh,
cliffhanger.
So we heard there's going to be exercise competitions on the Big D. So Jordan, as someone who had to actively compete for love on a show, which of these exercises do you think will make people squirm?
Oh, I get it.
All of them?
All of them, right? I mean, it's going to start out, the first exercise is going to be about showcasing your ex. Either showcasing the good or showcasing the bad.
So you are a year into marriage. First of all, mazel tov. But you two opted for a 6-year engagement. And JoJo, I would love you to have the floor. Did you feel pressure, you know what I mean, to rush into marriage like my Jewish mother wants me to have children? And what's your advice to younger couples who are taking their time, which you see, I think, a lot more?
You know, I will tell you, right after you get off of a show like The Bachelorette, you feel so much pressure to be perfect, to have this, you know, excellent relationship right out the gates, that you should get married right away. And we have been very honest that our first year was very hard for us,
Good
you
for
know,
you.
and that was a very big, you know, I think learning curve in our relationship, and one that we really had to navigate through. So I think time has been our friend. You know, we obviously, it took us 6 years to get married, but I will tell you, if we would have done it any other way, I'm not sure we would be as strong as we are today.
Thank you for that transparency.
It's
That's
great.
awesome.
And honestly, I think there's probably a lot of couples that don't have an example of waiting a little while. What do you think divorcees are doing differently than a typical single person? And Jordan, I got to ask you, do you think they have an advantage in being divorced?
I think they do, because it forces you to be intentional with what you want. You know what doesn't work for you. You know what you don't want. And so you know exactly those red flags. And I think one of the most important parts and the unique part about this show is usually when you go on a dating show as a single, you can be whoever you want, right? You can act like you make this much money. You can act like you're easygoing. You know, you always have time for your spouse. The problem is if you're putting on a front that's not real, your ex is sitting right there going, no, he's not. He is high maintenance. He is stubborn.
I love this.
So much drama. As a viewer, I'm gonna eat it up. JoJo, what's the best thing the two of you did while coming down from the experience of one of the biggest reality shows in the country?
Honestly, going back to normal life as soon as possible. We didn't stick around in LA and go to all the events and the appearances and stuff. We went straight back home and dove right back into our real life. You know, Jordan was going back to working with ESPN. I was going back to remodeling, one of the houses that I was starting to work on before the show, something that he tagged along with. But I think we just wanted to get back to normalcy and focus on our relationship. And I think that if we would have done it again in a different way, it would have been a lot harder.
All right, so before we let you go, I love behind the scenes stuff, okay? So what was the hardest part behind the scenes with 6 divorced couples?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Energy?
I'm making sure the house didn't burn down.
Jabs left and right, you know it.
Are you kind of playing peacemaker?
Yeah, it's what you love about a show like this, right? Is that you're going to get the drama, the juicy drama that you love. But also, I think what intrigued us and what surprised us was the personal growth and the real genuine attitude change and connections that were formed. But first and foremost, you got to make sure that the peace is maintained.
Episode 1, we come in hot, so just get ready.
Ooh,
I love this.
That's a great idea.
Watching this.
I know. JoJo and Jordan, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, The Big D premieres June 14th on USA. We can't wait. Thanks again. Congrats on everything, you guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Buzzwords like organic or all natural can make you think you're doing something good for your body. But a study found a lot of natural skincare products can actually contain allergens. To get the facts, we are taking a look at the study itself published in JAMA Network. Dr. Sarah Taylor, Associate Professor of Dermatology, Wake Forest School of Medicine, and Dr. Sandra Hong, Director of Cleveland Clinic's Food Allergy Center. According to the study, researchers analyzed more than 1,600 so-called natural personal care products and found most of them contain ingredients that can cause allergic contact dermatitis.
Contact dermatitis is a really common issue for people, and they develop a really itchy rash. It could be scaly, it could be dry, sometimes blistery. That occurs when we actually come in contact with something that our skin is allergic to.
Many natural products have well-known irritants or allergens in them, specifically essential oils.
When it comes to skincare products, Dr. Taylor says the FDA does not approve them before they hit the shelves. She says the best thing to do is look at the ingredients.
We don't want any natural or synthetically added dyes. So this is something I tell patients. Our skin does not like fragrance and it doesn't like color.
She says to look for the least ingredients as possible. And if you really want something that is natural, you can ask your dermatologist before you use it. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out. Smoke from Canadian wildfires is blanketing the northeast of the United States. The smoky air can irritate respiratory systems and cause serious internal damage after short-term exposure. When the air quality is bad, medical experts recommend staying inside. But what about our pets? They still have business they need to attend to outside. Verify viewers have asked us if it's safe for pets to go outside when the air quality is poor. So let's verify. Does poor air quality from wildfire smoke affect pets? Our sources are the American Veterinary Medical Association, Air Now, a federal air quality database, the American Kennel Club, and Filtrete by 3M. Our experts say, just like people, smoke can cause health problems for animals too. According to Air Now, smoke can irritate your pet's eyes and respiratory tract. The American Veterinary Medical Association says animals with cardiovascular or respiratory disease are especially at risk from smoke and should be closely watched when the air quality is poor. Signs that your pet could be impacted by the smoke include coughing, difficulty breathing, fatigue or weakness, and reduced appetite or thirst. So we can verify, yes, poor air quality from wildfire smoke affects pets. While most people have gotten used to wearing face masks to combat COVID-19, medical experts say they can also help protect you from smoke. But when it comes to masking your pets, our experts say, don't do it. Instead, veterinarians say the best thing you can do to keep your pets safe is to keep them inside as much as possible and to keep your windows shut. With your Verify, I'm Adiante Till.
Welcome back. Again, commercial breaks here. Did you know there are some things that you're doing that may be killing your car? That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. First up, ignoring the check engine light. We've all done it. The longer you run your car with this light on, the more expensive the repairs could get. Next, overloading the vehicle. Got a lot of junk in the trunk? Clear things out and help de-stress your car with less weight. And finally, not replacing the air filter. They ask you every time you go in there. We all let this one slide, but a clogged filter leaves your engine with less air and more heat. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call today at 800-687-1821. Yeah, I always let that slide, the filter. And they bring it out and they're like, this is what it looks like. I'm like, put it back.
Yeah, and also, are we sure that that's your filter? You know,
no, that's a good point.
Never thought of that.
We go to the same place.
I know, I think they're pretty responsible.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just saying, I've been in these streets for 45 years. I can just spot a hustle. I don't know.
What do you do if you spot a hustle?
That's why, listening to that Ox Car Care, it should have been my dad's voice. My dad talked to me when I got his 1990 Honda Accord. He talked to me about the engine light, and he talked to me about the air filter, and he talked to me about keeping pressure in the tires. And it's like, here we are, 2023, same thing. So shout out.
My mom was always get the oil changed on time.
Oil.
She's big on the oil, and it's been working. It's been working.
That's amazing. A good present is a trash can for the car. You don't know how useful it is until you have it.
Or you could just take the trash out of the car.
Throw your trash away.
You don't let it pile up to the point where you need a can.
It goes in the back of the seat, so you can put it in.
That's going to stay in the car. That's the problem with trash.
We take it out of the car, though.
DBL problems. We'll see you guys on Monday.